Passing through the veil of mystery, seeking answers no one is brave to ask. This is Bound to Truth.
Hey everybody, welcome to Bound to Truth. This is Chris Lopez, or Christopher Lopez is what they call me, my true friends, with Jonathan Hirschy here today. And we have a special guest, a second appearance with Gary White. And before we get into that, what I want to do is make sure to share how you can reach us, boundtotruth34@gmail.com. Definitely share your stories, inputs, insults, comments. We definitely want you to be a part of the show. Again, the platform is yours. No matter what story you have, you could be anonymous. We want you to be heard. We want you to be acknowledged because obviously this is not typical stuff you share with a therapist, you know? And so we want to make sure you share that stuff out there because just because it's not part of the norm does not make it not real. And all the platforms we have too is going to be on X, Facebook, YouTube. Since this video is going to be on YouTube now, which is awesome, which I'm finally getting smart about doing things, Apple, Spotify, as well as Buzzsprouts. So we're going to dive deep into this. This could be a 1 or 2 part series. We're not sure, depending on the conversation. This is going to be more of a roundtable approach with John and Gary because they both have experiences with, I'm going to just keep it simple, just to simplify it, with extraterrestrials. We don't know what they are. We're just going to keep it as NHI, non-human intelligence. And I kind of want to create a think tank between these two and really kind of discuss. And the first thing I want to do is before I introduce Gary is I'm going to have them do kind of a short intro of him. And then John, I want you to re-share your short intro as well. And we'll kind of go from there. This is going to be just more of us guys having a coffee or a beer and hanging around a round table and just kind of chatting, chalking, and kind of just share the experience. So, Gary,
Man,
welcome.
I should have brought a beer.
Gary, welcome back, buddy. How are you doing? And definitely reintroduce yourself and what you've gone through in your experiences.
I'm doing good, Christopher. Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely.
Sorry, catching a cold, kind of getting that head illness going on. But yeah, I'll see if I could keep this short.
Mhm.
It started when I was 5 years old. Beans came into my room. I could hear him shuffling around. Call from my mom. She's all, "No, you're dreaming. It's nothing." They did it a couple of times. They scared me pretty bad. Then nothing till I was about 25 years old, and I'm driving home, and me and a buddy, I'm driving him home from work, and big mothership in the San Francisco Bay Area. The thing, the size, I mean, like 2 shopping malls. It's just like, wow,
Mhm.
very low ground. You can't really, we were so close that you couldn't see around it. It was just
Mhm.
huge. And I'm going, look, it's a UFO. And this dude's all, no, it's not. No, it's not. Dude, what else could this possibly be? And I start driving towards it, and there's 2 small ones that are like following my car. And I go, that's not a UFO. What are these? So he got very emotional
Mhm.
and to the point where he wanted to go home. He's curled up in a ball crying, going, I want to go home. I don't want to go near it. I was fascinated by this thing. Before that, I'd read Chariots of the Gods when I was a kid. That
Mhm.
was about it. I never really put much into the whole UFO thing. So I turn around, drive them home. They're all gone, instantly gone.
Right.
So I was up, Christopher, Jonathan, for a couple of days, just tripping, going. I kept expecting these big almond headed, big eyes standing at my 2-story window, coming to get me or something. And a bunch of people made fun of me. Hey, have you seen the little green men lately? Um, you kind of nailed it. It can be very, very personal.
Yeah.
And you open yourself up, and a lot of people want to make fun of you. Me, I'm an open book. I'll stand on the top of a mountain and scream it out. I don't care what you see. I know what I've been through. I know what I've experienced. Um, so after that, it was probably a couple years later, I started going through a near death head rush experience, anxiety, and it would come and it would go. And it happened once to where I was homeless at the time. I laid down in the back of my truck. This is it. I'm dying. I'm accepting my death. Laid down. The voice started talking to me, explained about a creative river around our planet that's an energy that we tap into that's creative energy. And it says we tap into this and it's black and white and it comes out of us colored with our personality, blah, 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 blah. Then they're gone. Where are you at, man? Why can't I communicate with you? This was like seriously interesting. So then a little bit of the near death experience here and there. And about 8 months later, it happened again, really bad, laid down, accept the fact I was going to die, and start talking to me again. And I go, "What's up? Last time you just disappeared and nothing." They said, "Well, we've been with you your whole life. We will be with you the rest of your life."
Mm.
Okay. Didn't want to go to sleep, but eventually I fell asleep. Woke up the next morning. "Good morning, Gary. How are you?" Da, 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 da. They start talking, and it went on for a couple of days. And I finally said, "Look, I need my mind back because you're just bombarding me with information." They said, "Fine, we'll give you that. We will just answer questions for you." And they did. They started answering questions. I'm doing psychic readings. I'm answering questions for people. And then one day I'm reading a book. I'm living in the back of this truck and I'm looking up at the clouds, and a little wire goes out from a cloud, goes back in. Looks like a UFO. And I'm, "What the hell?" And they go, "That's us. We're the ones that have been talking with you."
Mm-hmm.
And that started. Christopher was on after that, and just information. They basically steered me towards Buddhism and really put in me the fact that I need to take these abilities and help people and not charge. I tried doing it as a business. I tried did business cards, Psychic Man 99. I'm doing readings, and it just in the heart didn't feel right.
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
kind of dropped charging, and here I am 37 years later, you know, doing my thing.
Wow. Wow. And by the way, John, he has a lot more interesting stories than that. We'll definitely go into depending on how the conversation goes. And so, John, this is your turn. You heard a little bit of his experiences in the talk. I know yours is a bit different. So feel free on what you want to share and kind of share your experiences as well so far.
Mine is more, my experiences are actually more centered around my wife and my children and her family. I kind of married into the extraterrestrial bombardment, so to speak, but I've had my own personal experience as well. For me personally, I ended up in a situation where I woke up in a field in basically the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I won't get it's there's a lot of detail that I can go to. Miles away, probably a 2 hour drive away. No car, no shoes, basically naked. With no explanation. So that was one experience. And then with mine personally, and this happened after dealing with a lot of extraterrestrial activity that happens centered around my wife and my children. We get visitors that come quite often to our home. Um, they come and they speak to our children. Our kids will come and talk to us about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had incidences where I've woken up in the middle of it and witnessed lights, sounds like people are in my home, on the roof. As well as we had an incident that at our old house where I actually have it on film where we caught the eyes of something peering in, and I was right down the hallway, awake.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally my room, my daughter's room, my son's room, and it's a hallway straight down. If I had been sitting up, I would have seen it. But what happened was is on the we heard my son freak out, and on the video you see something peering up and over from the hallway with these big eyes. They're like each eye,
Yeah.
individual eye is probably this big on the video, peering up and over, looking into my children's room. And my son saw it and he started freaking out about it. And that's when I got up, went down the hallway. There was nothing there. So I was like, "No, man, maybe you had a nightmare." And he's like, "No, I was wide awake." My oldest was asleep and my youngest was up. You can even see him in the video that he is awake, like playing with something on his bed. And the video is as clear as day that there was something there. My wife has been dealing with a lot of things where she, especially through her pregnancies,
Mm-hmm.
they always seem to come when she's pregnant, which I have 9 children, so that's been a lot. And she'll always wake up with this. I don't even know how to describe it. I wish she was here to describe it. It's like a device that's underneath her skin
Mm-hmm.
that's only there during the duration of her pregnancy. There's usually some form of episode that happens while she's asleep, and it's almost like she actually had one just a couple of days ago. I told you about it, Chris, and I'll kind of describe it. I didn't wake up during this. She said it kind of felt like what was the word she used? Like sleep paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
She woke up unable to move, unable to scream. She could see things in our room. And this time it was the first time that she was like, I was completely alert to their presence in here and I heard them speaking. She's like, and she told me, she said, I've never heard this language before. They were speaking, they were talking. She's like, I was trying to scream, I was trying to do anything to wake you up, and it just wouldn't happen. And she said it went on for a period of time, and then there was like this motion where it was like she kind of fell like back asleep and then woke and like almost like it was like, and then they were gone. So, and this has been happening for years. Can't even count the amount of times that my children will come. My youngest son, he seems to have more communication with them. If for and he'll come in and he'll tell us. He'll be like, "Oh, my people." He always calls them my people. My people came and visited me last night, and they, and he'll tell me something that he doesn't know, like that his brain that is just because he's young. He's not Dorian 6. And so he'll come in there and have this like crazy story to tell us about something that you just like, he's not watching the Discovery Channel. He's not watching lots of crazy things.
Right.
Information that could only have been given to him by somebody, and he can tell it in great detail. And he's like, they told me this last night. My daughters will say the same thing. I have two twin daughters who are the spawn of Satan, and they will
Yes, they are.
and they will come in and they'll tell me, they're like, oh, the people came and they visited us, and they were just telling me, I think the last one that they told me about was that they came to check on Ellie, which is our second youngest daughter. They came and they stopped in and they told them that they're like, oh, we're just here to check on Ellie, and we're coming popping in, and Ellie's not really, she does speak, but she's not old enough to really have fully articulated sentences. So it'll be interesting to find what comes from her later on, because she's on the lower level of our house, so we don't really get that whole like hallway activity of waking up or the girls coming in, and they have never been afraid of them, never once.
Yeah.
They basically think that they're part of the family, that they come and go. They call them their people.
Yeah.
And we believe that goes back to this isn't just, this is like, for lack of a better term, I'll call it like a bloodline curse. Her entire family have been dealing with the exact same things for as long as they can remember, the females on their family. And it goes to her mother, her mother's mother, and so on. They all have stories of it, almost identical, of visitors coming and checking on them and doing experiments, so to say. And then there's several other situations where, there were situations where our children should have died, usually during pregnancy. And there is an entire, with my oldest son's birth, he should have died. He should have died. There was a lot of blood loss. There was a lot of everything. And then there was a moment in the room that the doctors cannot recollect. The nurses cannot recollect. My wife cannot recollect. But all of a sudden, he was just fine, and the whole medical issue was solved like that. And nobody has any recollection of how it happened at all. The entire medical team was like, it was just all of a sudden everything was fine. And when they were in a crisis mode, like Sophia was going to die, and Lucian was going to end up dying because of this medical emergency that happened while it was there. And then all of a sudden it was perfectly fine. So that's kind of for long-winded story of kind of how it is, but it kind of gives you a breakdown of the things that we've been dealing with on the extraterrestrial plane of our family and our family's bloodline, so to speak. And like I said, I kind of married into it, and I'm just hoping I don't wake up during a probing. That's all.
And you know what too, Gary, when I tell John, and it's when I talk to the kids, and the kids, I can echo the same thing. They share that a lot. They're very special. The twins are evil. But I keep thinking The Shining. I'm just waiting for them to say, come play with us. Come play with us forever and ever. Like, you. So with that being said, John, I'll say this. I've seen the film actually two films that John has shared with me regarding, one was the light that came through and the door just slammed open. It was insane. And then when this kid knew what was happening, it was crazy. This was when I first time met him. And then the being that was coming across. And here's the thing. When I saw it, John will tell you, I almost cried, not because I was scared. It was more of, it's like I don't know what to do. It was just one of those, like, you can see videos on YouTube and you're not, hey, looks real, looks a lot. This is like firsthand camera in his room with his kids. And that was, just a mind blowing thing. And it's one of the things where I'm like, boy, I could see why this is such a sensitive thing because it shocked me, and I'm a believer in this stuff, right? I don't have the experiences like both you guys do. My dad's been in the military; he shared his stuff in the Navy and all that stuff. But again, this is like secondhand, third-hand stuff. But we're talking about first-hand stuff, video from John, and first have experiences from both John and you. And so, one of the things, Gary, I wanted to ask you, you just heard John's story. Obviously, you gave your intro. You heard John's story, and you have a pretty sizable following. And I know before when we talked in the podcast that you help a lot of people. You say, "Hey, I try to, make some money off it, not for greed, but just like to support what you're doing." And you kind of felt wrong. But so, Gary, after hearing John's story, have you encountered people with similar experiences like that? And can you elaborate a little bit with that?
Yeah, I've heard several stories like that, to be honest with you, Christopher. My daughter, when she was little, would see them. They would come to her room, and similar to his kids, she didn't have an issue with it. But I had been going through this for 20 something years. So I was there to explain to her, this is what you're experiencing. This is what's going on. Honest with her from the get go. So I can understand where he's coming from. It's not uncommon. It's more common than people think. A lot of people they don't want to put themselves out there, be made fun of. They don't want their kids screwed with. Couple comments on what he said. And if he's interested in hearing what I've learned from my guides, the thing under the skin, what that's doing is tracking her metabolic changes. It's like a very, very, very high tech EKG. And it will go.
You know what? I kind of thought that too because I'm sorry to interrupt because she's had that where like my wife and Chris even knows during like Rune's pregnancy, there was a lot of medical issues with my wife,
especially
Yes.
yeah.
that would just
Be
done.
fixed.
Things that don't get fixed, things that like kill people that are
That
just
they-
taken care of. And after the pregnancy, it disappears.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
felt it with my hands, like, and it's my wife. I know her body. I know it's not there. Like right now, it's not there, and it's always in the same spot. Well, I know, okay, it's jumped around a few times. I'll have to confirm that with her. But it's the same thing, and it's just like after the pregnancy, and you go through that whole pregnancy brain, everything you forget. So it's not like I'm in the moment of thinking like, oh, you had the baby, I'm gonna check right now. It's like all of a sudden, Sophia's like, it's gone, and I was like, oh shit.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, I got one in my chest right here. It's
Wow.
there 30 something years. And I've never had x-rays. I've had no reason to have x-rays. I know exactly what it is. And that's what these implants, they track your metabolic changes. Now, like with me, I'm diabetic. Okay. I'm insulin dependent at this point. And I got over 100 scars on my body. And what they've done is they'll scar my body and they track how long it takes my body to heal because my blood sugars and diabetes was out of control. I was a complete train wreck between the partying and the out of control diabetes.
Right.
So it's basically a very high tech EKG. Now, I want to mention, you mentioned something about the bloodlines. And this goes back very, very far. They're tracking genetics. Like I have sex with my girlfriend. She has a kid. You got your genetics combined. Now you got new line of genetics. And this goes back apparently centuries that they follow this genetics. And you hear a lot of people, they'll say, okay, why are there so many sightings in the United States as opposed to other countries? Well, it's the great melting pot. Look at all the different nationalities here in the United States.
Right.
Basically is what that's about.
The demographic of the United States is a petri dish for genetics.
Exactly.
You know what? Yeah, I never thought about that. I never. You know what? You're right. I honestly, I never thought about that. Why is the United States such an attractive hotspot? Not saying other countries are not because of that. Because of the pot mixture. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's a really good point.
Well, that's what apparently this whole planet is about. This was created for genetic development, not just humans, animals. That's why we got so much life on this planet. There's life we don't realize are even here. And they're developing. They have been for millions of years, and it's used to colonize different parts of the multiverse.
Yeah,
so
I could see that.
Wow,
it's like a breeding. It's a brooding box, basically.
Hold on, multiverse. Like we're not talking about just planets. We're talking about multiverse, different dimensions per se.
Yeah, there's multiple universe. It's a lot bigger than we realize, Christopher. And I saw a thing where these scientists are going, well, the universe is expanding. And what we're going through, we're learning what it is to be completely physically human, okay, through
Mhm.
multiple lives. Once we learn this, these big bug-headed, not the reptilians, the greys, the insectoids, the mantids, they're learning to develop the physical. So they're the ones doing the abductions. Then a lot of people that are being abducted will sit there and say, okay, well, there's humans standing in the background watching what's going on. Those are these Palladians, and the ones that look like us,
Mm.
they're basically the orchestrators. They're overseeing this whole program of genetic development and also how the soul is created and interacts, goes into a body, leaves a body, reincarnation, soul ages like we do, lifetime by lifetime, like we
Right.
age year by year.
Mm.
Okay. Once we complete this whole thing where they're at, we go on to be gods. You have your own universe, and it continues. This whole process continues and creates energy. That's why these scientists are going, well, it's expanding. Of course, it's got to expand. It's continued learning. So these beings, and I did something really stupid one night. I don't want to go into details,
Who doesn't
but
do anything stupid, John?
I'm constantly doing stupid things. Speaking of petri dishes, I'm a petri dish for absolute moronic activity.
Yes, go ahead, Gary.
you and me both, Jonathan. It was something bad enough where it could have took my life. You know, I easily could have died. And I go, you must think I'm a real idiot. And they go, no, actually, Gary, we understand exactly why you guys do what you do because we've been through this.
Yeah.
So it's like we're in kindergarten. The ones with the big heads are getting their master's degree. These Palladians that look like us, they're getting their PhD. And then God is like the senior CEO of the organization.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Put it in
In-
technical aspect.
Interesting. So I kind of want to step back a little bit in regards to like the lineage, right? And Gary, you make a really good point. And I think about this because, John, if it's okay, and I can cut this out in the podcast. So remember after Sophia had Rune, right? You're supposed to get a vasectomy.
Yeah.
What happened?
It couldn't happen. They couldn't do it. The doctor was this might be a little bit of TMI for the whole world, but the doctor was in my sack for about 30 minutes plus and could not perform the procedure.
Exactly. It
Be,
wasn't meant to happen.
beyond the local anesthesia wearing off to where she was like, no, you can't keep going through this. Your child was like, get it over with, get it done. She's like, I feel like I can't. She used the term, she's like, your vas deferens is running away from me.
Anything like
Wow.
that, Gary? Have you heard anything like that? With like, it's kind of unique, right? Because it's supposed to be a
I've
simple procedure.
It's supposed to be a simple procedure, and I've never heard nothing like that. After my daughter was born, I got a vasectomy, and it didn't go well. I tell people it's like having a rabid monkey hanging from my nuts for 20 minutes. I
There you
mean,
go.
the dude brings out this tray with these two long needles, and you're spread eagled, and
Mm.
he don't be alarmed if you smell smoke. I'm all, what the?
You're like, I am already alarmed, sir.
Already alarmed, huh, Jonathan? And it
Yeah.
didn't, well, it worked. They did it, and everybody else is going, dude, what do you, I had one and it was nothing.
My
It was,
favorite was when the doctor looked at me and it was a female doctor and she goes, try to relax. I was like, you are about ready to cut open my nutsack and you're going to tell me to relax. There is nothing relaxed about what I'm feeling right now. Like,
Oh my God. As much as I'm jealous that the beings don't draw attention to me, I'm just glad I have any children. So there you go. Uh,
no,
I got 9 kids, so you can borrow a few of mine whenever you want.
well, Jen wants Ellie and Dorian.
And she gets the twins.
obviously,
Yeah.
Jonathan, your genetics are very important to these beings. I mean, that's what it's about is genetic development. Now, let me ask you this. Are you or anybody in your family into anything creative?
I am a lot of people in my family. I'm just learning about my biological family right now, and it's a pretty extensive background of a mixture of criminals, geniuses, and all kinds of things.
Gotcha. What I've learned, like myself, I'm a musician and
Yeah,
an artist.
And so is
Okay.
John.
yeah.
There you go. Well, what they do, there's a give and take here, Jonathan. So you volunteer, what we call abductions. You volunteer before you're born. It's part of your soul contract. I'm going to be involved with them. And it's a multiple life commitment. It's not just one life and it's done. So basically, whoops, technical problems.
No, we're good. We're good. Keep going.
Okay, so basically, you volunteer for this program. You're going to let them do these I hate to call them experiments, you know what I'm saying? Procedures. They
Okay.
do these procedures developing genetics. And in exchange, they help you to develop creativity and higher mental, like me, with the whole communicating the information. And my friend, very good friend I've known since I was 9, he's all, yeah, we're like lab rats. And I go, dude, I'm not a lab rat. I mean, I volunteered for this. I let them do it. In exchange, look at the information I got.
Right.
Look at they help me with the creativity. They help us develop psychic abilities, which takes multiple lifetimes to do. So you see somebody that's dealing with schizophrenia on a street corner, talking to, screaming at nobody that's there. They're at the first levels of developing higher mental development. Okay.
Yes. So the voices that I'm hearing mean I'm smarter than Chris.
But you see what I'm saying?
I hate when it does that.
We get something for being involved with them with these procedures, which
Yeah.
people say it's an abduction. They're snatching you up out of nowhere, and you have no choice in it. That's not true. Jonathan, I got to ask you a question, man.
Yeah.
Going back, dude, when you woke up in a field and you're butt naked and you're 2 miles, what the hell went through your mind and what did you do?
He pulled a dildo out of himself.
Shit.
It was a long night.
I am sorry.
Well,
that was my inner voice. Sorry. Go ahead.
That was your outer voice, Christopher Lopez. Um, I sought assistance. If you want to talk about what was going through my mind, is absolute confusion of more like I was trying to rack through my brain. Like, did I party last night? Did I do drugs? Like, where was I? Nope. I went to sleep and I woke up 2 hours away from my house with absolutely no way to get there. Yeah,
How
I
did
was
you get?
confused.
How did
Oh,
you
I
get?
got back because the owner of the property called the police because there was a half-naked individual in his backyard.
Oh wow.
And then the police showed up and they ran the works, they came, they questioned me, they talked to me, they're like, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from over here. And they're like, how did you get here? I was like, I'm gonna let you know, I don't know.
Did they arrest
And
you?
then no, they didn't arrest me, but I definitely took a breathalyzer test and they asked to do a toxicology report on me to find out if I had been drugged, but I did not. I was like, I'm not on drugs.
Well, you
Wow.
know what? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Gary. Go ahead.
Because the guy that owned the property was very like he was cool about it. He called the police more like because apparently that area is known for a lot of weird things going on.
That was my
As not
point. Yeah.
just not just extraterrestrial, but a lot of like unexplained cryptid activity too. So and especially in his exact region. So when I talked to him about it, he was like, "It's not uncommon what just happened." Just so you know, I was like, "Well, it is for me."
Yeah, I'm sure. Are you friends with them?
No, that guy I never spoke to again, but I did talk to the police officer not long after that, and he told me a story about some things that had happened out there, which he asked me to keep private, so I'm not going to share it with it. But some very similar activities to like what happened, more or less when he got in touch with me again, he just wanted to know if I had figured out how I got out there. Car was home. None of my buddies gave me a ride. Yeah.
Did you
And then
tell
and
them?
then I had another experience too where my wife apparently we fell asleep and I woke up or when we woke up I was covered head to toe in dirt and I
Wow.
never got out of bed as far as I know. I have no recollection of what happened that time. Like my feet were all dirty, like the bed was filled with dirt. Like it was like I had gone out and went and dug ditches for a whole day and just came and laid in bed and that's not how I went to bed.
Apparently, when you're gone, time isn't the same as with us that's linear, day by year. It's a whole that
Yeah.
you could be gone with them. What seems to be 2 hours, it could be like 6 months.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know what too? One of the things, and John, I think I mentioned this before, and Gary, you can let me know with many people you talk to, you know, I mentioned hypnotherapy to recall those memories. John, I'm not sure if you're open to that, which I mean, I wouldn't, well, I'm not saying to do it, but I'm not sure if that ever crossed your mind or something that's like, I don't want to know. I'm good. I just woke up in the field. I went home. I'm good. You know,
I,
what's your guys' thoughts on that with, or, Gary, especially with people you talk with too, just kind of like you guys thoughts on those repressed experiences.
Experiences. My opinion is I got an agreement with them. Whatever they're doing, I don't want to freaking know. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Same thing. Now I tried to get hypnotized for past life regressions because I've been through a couple of my past lives and I kind of wanted to go through these. And they told me there's a thing you can go through where you go through all your past lives, how you died, how you did this, and it clears you and you're a better functioning individual. So I tried to do this and they couldn't put me under.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's a lot of people, they say that it helps them. Some of them, it brings back traumatic memories that they kind of wish they didn't do it,
Yeah, and you think the like besides the past experiences, do you think is because it's I mean I can understand that. It's like asking somebody, hey, you want to go and have a hypnotherapy regarding your surgeries you had in your brain? No, just fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Am I on the same page in
that's
that way?
the same. It's the same way. Like my wife said, she doesn't want to know what's going on, and me, I'm loaded with green tips next to my bed just in case. Like I don't know. She said she feels comfortable with it. I don't, and it might be the fatherly instinct that's inside of me that knows that something's coming into my house without my knowledge and doing God knows what, and so it just kind of sets something off that doesn't settle right with me. You know what I mean? Like even though there's no harm has been done, I still it's that part of my brain that's like I gotta protect my kids. What like what if it's not the nice ones? And that was it. Okay, so that was the difference between the incident that just recently happened a few days ago with my wife. And she said that she did not believe that these were the same ones that has been visiting her and the children in the past. She said that something felt different. And this is the first time that she's ever felt scared. And also the first time that she's ever been like awake, so to speak, for it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So, yeah, I've experienced these, the 7 foot praying mantis, half man, half praying mantis, moves
That'd
like a
be
spider. Mentally,
terrifying.
yeah, terrifying, dude. I won't say, oh yeah, it's all good. Um, I would rather not.
I'd be better with the big-eyed grays visit and seeing one of those in person than a giant mantis looking human or humanoid. That would scare the crap out of me.
See, what they've told me, Jonathan, is they're the same thing. It's like a
Just
spider.
just an evolved form.
Well, how about this? You got an arachnid, and
Hmm.
among arachnids, there's over 100,000 different types of spider,
Yeah.
from a scorpion to a black widow, a tarantula, but they all got the same function. So they
Yeah.
may look different, but they're the ones doing these. They're developing the physical. You see what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
So I kind of want to go back a bit because I kind of stuck on this whole field thing with you being in the field, and that's
Yeah.
very close to Travis Walton that got taken. He came, a couple days later. He's naked in a phone booth. What people don't realize that a lot of these, you got to look at what's going on at the bigger picture of things. And with Travis Walton, the reason they're pointing out the fact that they're out there clear cutting forests
Yeah.
because that's what they were doing. They're logging. They're just mowing down trees. It's like this tic tac off of the coast of California with the USS Nimitz, and it's bouncing around on the water. At the
Oh yeah,
bottom,
I saw that.
at the bottom of the ocean, there's 60 to 70,000 barrels of DDT rusting away, toxic chemicals into the water, affecting the life, into the food chain, from the fish to them to us. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And
Exactly.
another thing I want to comment on, and I get you, dude. This is your family. You're protected. You don't want to see your kids harmed. But you mentioned they saved their life. They
Yeah.
saved my life, dude. Like I said before we started this, I got the lives of a pregnant cat. I should have been dead a long time ago from both
Yeah.
car wrecks, drugs. I should not be here. I really,
Yeah.
really should.
And that's kind of the same thing with me too, is my life, I'm a recovering addict as well. And my life, especially with, like I was just talking about earlier with the motorcycle accidents, there's a lot of incidences of things that I've been involved in that there's no way that I should have survived it. The last crash that I was in, it would have killed 99% of people involved in it. And I mean, I was hurt. I got banged up pretty bad, spent some time in the hospital and whatnot, a lot of broken bones, but other than that, nothing serious. And
Well,
then the
that
accident
go
before
ahead,
that,
John.
the
Yeah.
accident before that, I was hit at 80 miles. I was doing 80 on my bike and not a scratch on me. I don't remember anything. I just remember waking up to the whoever pulled over after it had happened and then just getting up. It was like, how's my bike? It's
Yeah.
totaled, not a scratch on me. And
Well,
I was too young and dumb back then to wear riding gear. I was in jeans and like a little leather jacket, and I didn't even have a scrape. 80-mile-per-hour crash on a cross rocket. Good luck walking away from that. I have no idea.
it is
Everything
it.
you're,
Go ahead. Sorry.
everything. I'm sorry. Everything
No,
you're
no, good.
saying, John. You know what it shows me? You and your wife and her family, you've dealt with this in multiple lifetimes. This is
Mm.
not the first life that you dealt with these beings. If it was your first lifetime dealing with them, you'd be dealing with absolute terror.
Yeah.
That you got to learn the bad, you got to learn the good. It
Hmm.
evolved from the bad to good. And just, I mean, they're saving your life, they're saving your kids, you know?
Yeah.
So to put a pin on that for a moment, something, Gary, I'm going to show you that John shared with me regarding
It
the.
might be Chris. Be careful. It might be Chris's wiener. He has a problem of doing that to our guests.
Shut up, man.
Listen, listen. The carpet matches the drapes. You know what I'm saying?
It's really small, so you won't even know what you're looking at.
All right. So
Yeah.
give me a second here. I'm going to pull up this video.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Let me just do this. I'm going to put pause. Perfect. I'll be glad to share it here in a second. Let me do this. And let me see this here. So usually I do a pause and then share it, but usually I do that by myself when I'm like editing video, but since I'm keeping it
Hmm.
pretty roundtable-ish. So let's do a share and let's do, oh yes, Guten Tag. All right. So let me know
Gluten
what you guys,
tight.
let me know what you guys can see it. Can you see it
I can
there?
see it.
Yeah, I can see it
Is it full screen or
Yeah.
no?
pretty
It is
much.
So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to focus up in that doorway up there.
up here. Can you see my arrow up
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh, Dad, mother.
Uh-oh, you better be careful. It's playing a dangerous game, showing all your tabs.
Oh, shut up. That's not, there's nothing bad here. All right, here we go. Ready, gentlemen? Here we go. So just, and we can also rewind it back a little bit and I can slow
Hmm.
down. So here we go. Keep up here.
See it coming into view there?
Yeah. Okay. Let me know if I rewind it.
Hold on, it's still moving over there.
What is the flash that goes across the screen?
That's a bug. They had
Okay.
yeah, it was what are they called? A mosquito hawk.
Oh, gotcha.
You see it right there in the corner? See the
I don't have a very big screen. I'm looking
Oh,
up.
okay.
So it's shown right here.
Is it a
And everybody at home who's watching this video, feel free to explode it up and see it, but it's there and I've seen it. It's a big.
And as you can tell, my children, there's one on the top bunk, one on the bottom bunk. I am just slightly down the hallway on the bed with my wife, and the only other people are our twin babies that are asleep. And that's it for everybody in the house. And this is probably 30 feet away from me.
Yeah,
You might have to send it to Gary so he can blow it up on a
yeah,
bigger
Gary, I'll
screen.
definitely personally send it to you, but definitely blow it up and share it out. John, is it possible? Let me unshare this. Do you have the one with the light flashing? Is that possible at all?
That one might because I changed phones. I'm gonna have to really dig for that one, but I will send that to you. Actually,
Okay,
let me,
perfect. Because
Yeah,
that would
you know who always has everything available is my wife. Watch this.
Okay. Because I think that one too, and I will send that to you too. Actually, while you're doing this, Gary, I will send it to you personally on the messenger because I think that's important for you to take a look at and
Yeah,
definitely kind of get your thoughts and theories behind it. Because like I said, we're all in this together, right? We want to discover the truth. We want to, I mean, not just the conversation you're having, there's a lot of different scenes behind everything with, again, not to go into whole government thing, but let's face the fact, the government's involved in this and things that they know what's going on, except there's a narrative that's trying to be controlled. And I'm not trying to go conspiracy. I'm just saying that there's something happening that is trying to take all this information, filter it out, and create bullshit.
I wish I could say, Christopher,
I
to
know.
tell you the truth, I think I got the answer, but it's just I made an agreement a while back that I wouldn't discuss this stuff
I know.
because I've been stalked. I've been through a lot, man. I mean, they throw you in the back of a police car and this thing's flashing, do not arrest, do not arrest, do not arrest. And this is before
Oh
computer.
gosh, that's lucky because mine was always flashing. Dangerous. Call for backup.
So wait a minute. Is that so? Wait a minute. And I forgive that. So is that why you don't talk about the government pieces because of those things that's going on? Is because of the
Well,
intimidation? I don't want to put you in a position.
no, I got
Yeah.
this is what really triggered it is so this started happening with me and I'm answering questions and talking with people. I had business cards and a pager. I lived in the back of a truck. I was
Mhm.
homeless. I would scrounge, hustle, whatever I got to do to get that pager, to get changed, to plunk in that phone booth and my business cards made up. And then I got my first computer. So I get in these Yahoo groups and I'm got all this information they've been giving me. And I'm just sharing it and sharing it. And I had no qualms with going into government stuff. And then one night I'm in this chat room and I got four people just hammering on me. And they're just giving me a hard time. And I said something and pissed one of them off. And
Mhm.
he told me, "Oh yeah, Gary White, I know you, Fremont, California,
Mhm.
American high school, want to be druggy rock star."
Mhm.
Whoa, this motherfucker knows where I went to school, the town I grew up in, the fact that I partied, the fact that I played in bands. Um, so my guys tell me, okay, we want to tell him this. And they go, and you are all the
Right.
same person. You used to be military, now you work in the private sector, and you're basically paid to go into groups to discourage, insult people that basically are sharing what they've learned that are communicating with these beings.
Mhm.
And they went through a whole thing with this guy. And at the end, they ended it and said, "Yeah, we know you." Just like with me, with my life, when I was like 20, 22, 23,
Mhm.
they said, "We know you. You like to go home, slap the wife, beat the kids, kick the dog," and ended it with his real name. And in about minutes later, I was wiped from the site. My shit's gone. I can't post nothing. I can't do nothing. And at that point, my guide said, moving forward, just don't get involved with government related issues.
I try to
And
avoid the government as much as possible myself, personally, for other reasons.
my opinion, it's smart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why, people talk about Stephen Greer and how great Stephen
Yeah.
Greer is. And it's like, dude, you know what, man? This dude comes out and says the government has this thermo pulse technology that they're shooting down UFOs. And I'm all, dude, come on, man. Think about
You're painting a target on yourself is what you're doing at that.
Yeah,
it.
but
It
yeah,
is.
but he's been doing it for over 30 years. So why is he around to keep talking about this stuff? Why is he, you got Mike Herrera coming out about Indonesia and about this stuff. Like what is it just a psyop type of thing? I mean, why? I mean,
They they don't want us knowing the truth. It's all
Exactly.
distraction. It's just all distraction. With Stephen Greer, come on, man. It's the United States. If you committed treason and you gave out their national security secrets, you would be tried and executed. Cut and dry.
Probably not even tried. You just never be heard from again. You know how it's the government. You're
Yeah.
gone.
And second, okay, let's look at this. You're shooting down UFOs. If someone were to shoot at you, what would you do?
Shoot back.
John would,
Thank
yeah. Me, I run.
He
John,
doesn't.
I'm
He
not
would
lying.
scream.
I'm just saying, I would.
I'm out of here, man. No, you think about any organization. How about that? Maybe not a single individual. Any government, any these beings, if they're shooting at them, they don't have weapons. This whole thing I talk about with the near-death experience they put me through to establish the communication, it is the most terrifying thing I've ever been through. And what they're doing is scrambling the brain. It's hard to explain. You got to experience it. But they could easily just turn us into mush, rolling around on the ground, and you can't function. They don't got guns and weapons, and
Yeah, they don't have use for that because they're beyond that.
they're beyond that, John. So
They can
beyond.
get into if they can get into your mind, they can just shut you down
They could.
physically.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Wish I had
so.
that power. I would do that to Chris every like 45 minutes. He'd be at work, he'd walk in and just on the ground.
I do. I actually do. And sorry, everybody. I was trying to look. I was trying to look for that other film, John. While
I was
putting my
trying
head
to
down.
look for it too.
Yeah,
That's why
I was
my
like,
phone in my
crap.
hand.
Because,
I can't find it right now. It's hiding in my cloud somewhere.
And when I do find it, Gary, or when John finds it, we'll send it to you. And it's pretty extraordinary stuff regarding the experience. I know we like the label as abduction, and we can call it abduction depending on who, and their thoughts and feelings, but the experience, the phenomenon that's happened.
Yeah.
With you, Gary, you've been doing this for a long time. John's had many experiences himself, as you heard, and but also he's dealt with a lot of different paranormal things as well, being who he is and his licensing and so forth. And do you think, and one of the things, someone asked me is like, how does, paranormal, like, supernatural, Bigfoot, UFOs and aliens, aliens, right? How are they connected? My answer has always been nothing or everything. And one of the things you brought up too was like, experimentation, right? Into a different multiverse. And so do you think there's anything connected potentially with those broad like subjects of the phenomenon when it comes to those things in a way? I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Because people could say, well, how does that exist if this exists? It's like, well, we're labeling things that we don't understand. That's what we're labeling it, right? We don't know.
I think they're absolutely connected. Now, I mentioned this being the kindergarten, frickin' master's degree, PhD. There's 78 levels of understanding to get to the point where these Palladians that look like us, they use 100% of the same brain as us. 78 different levels of understanding. Each one has its own separate parallel dimension. Now, I believe these UFOs are a dimension above it. I think they're more highly evolved, where if we could use 100% of our brain, we'd be able to manipulate physical matter. And you're basically speeding up, slowing down molecular structures. So they say these Bigfoots, it's there, it's gone. Where did it go?
Yeah.
UFOs, aliens, they're there, they're gone. Where did they go? They're just manipulating the physical structure.
That goes back to what Randy was also saying too about
Let's think about him.
Bigfoot. Yeah. That goes hand in hand. We had another individual that was on our cast here that was speaking very similar to what you were saying, that the Bigfoots are an interdimensional being.
Exactly.
And not a gorilla in the woods type of situation.
No,
It's that this is a highly intelligent being that has, like you said, it sounds like what Randy was saying, that the Bigfoot is a different different genus of the species of extraterrestrial.
Exactly.
And Randy's a musician.
Yeah.
And he produces music. And it's funny because I thought when you said that, I thought about the rant with Randy, because he talks about them being very interdimensional. When he talks about like speaking, that like your experiences, Gary, regarding like that telepathy, he calls it mind speak. And I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool.
It goes back to what you were saying too, that it's not an audible voice. It's like it's coming from your brain.
Yeah, it's really hard to describe. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with smudging, burning sage. Okay. I need to smudge right now. And be honest, my kid's mom moved out a bit back, and she's got something negative for her. And it was in this house, and I smudged. I got rid of it, but I think it's back. And the other night,
red sage, it won't come back.
It won't come back. Where do you get red sage?
If you give me, if you will privately talk about it, if you give me your address or a mailing address that I can do, I can send you some. It's kind of hard to get your hands on, but I got a bunch of it.
Okay,
You
I'll do
might be
that.
able to get it. Actually, I can probably send you the link to the lady that I get mine from. I forgot that she has an online store, and you can probably order directly from her. Her shipping's pretty fast.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Um, Well, yeah, dude, that would be great, and I have no
yeah.
problem giving you an address. But it spoke to me the other night, and I'm all, damn, you're freaking back. I got a smudge again. It says, "Don't smudge." Yeah, fuck you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, get out of here. Don't smudge. Oh, yeah, Satan. I'm not gonna smudge, of course. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I call it fun with feces.
I could tell. It's like us three talking. I
Yeah.
could tell the
Yeah,
difference in Christopher's voice and Jonathan's voice.
Right.
yeah,
I can tell the difference between this that's in this house and my guides. My guides, I mean, the communication with them is nothing short of angelic.
yeah,
Okay.
A smooth, peaceful, and the other one is a more loud, belligerent. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yes.
yeah. It's like having the description of like the voice of God. People have described it as a loud, bowstring voice from the heaven, and other people have described it as like a whisper that felt like it came from within.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
what mine has been. I mean, and it's not just a voice. Sometimes it's pictures, or it
yeah,
will be a whole block of information. It's
Right.
like I was watching a show one night on the dinosaurs, the prehistoric or the Jurassic period, and they gave me a whole block of information about how there was humans before the dinosaurs. And this
yeah.
was interrupted. And what they were doing was developing the DNA for these reptilians.
Hmm.
So these reptilians are developing beings on other planets, just like I mentioned earlier, throughout the multiverse. So their development that they're doing with the life that they're developing has to go in the Darwinism evolution. So it
Yeah.
had to be done in real time on our planet when they developed this. So it went how many millions of years? They seen it work. They went right back to the human development, which is why we got the missing link.
Yeah, which is Chris.
Oh God. Okay.
Blame everything on
I'm
Chris.
I'm I'm the Geico
Yeah.
caveman. I'm the Geico
Yeah.
caveman. So
Okay.
okay. Here's what we're gonna do. So we're crossing that hour. What I want to do, I want to leave it to this. I think the next episode, oh my God, I almost called you Randy because honestly, I gotta connect Gary. I gotta connect you with Randy. We're gonna have to do an episode
I think
together.
that would be a
I
great episode.
what do you think, John? Would that be
Oh,
awesome?
absolutely. It
I
would
think
be awesome to have Gary and Randy, your guys' two
you
heads
guys
on the
would
whole
hit it off
Bigfoot thing.
so well. He is a great dude. He's been on Monster Quest. He's got he's been with David Hijack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a big deal.
he's
Yeah,
a
he's a
big
big
deal.
deal.
He's legit.
I want to
I'm
get into shows and I want to get into speaking, man, because I got original concepts to all of this.
yeah, and you
What part of the state or what part of the country are you in?
West Coast.
West Coast.
Oh, so are you in? Are
So
you?
there are a lot of conventions that love to get speakers like that. I'll get you in touch with a buddy of mine who runs a couple of the big ones
Yeah.
on the West Coast. He runs a really big one in Oregon as well as one here and a couple other places. But if you want to start speaking on the topic, he will be able to get you on that path.
And I'll send your email, Gary, to John, so you guys
Yeah,
can connect and so forth. That, and then I'll work with Randy to do episode with all three of us or all four of us if John's available. I definitely
that'd
like
be
to have all
cool.
four of us. To be great because I think with what you're talking about and what Wendy's talking about, there's a lot of similarities. Not just about who the beings are, just about the interdimensional piece.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to leave with the show, and I think it'd be good to kind of think about, is one of the things I want to cross the bridge and talk about is, we talk about these generations. We talk about Gary talked about his past lives. I also want to talk about how God plays into this too. We got these, a lot of stuff like that because people are going to ask those questions. It's a big mind blower. So I'll work on that. That could be another 2-3 weeks. It could be a month. John and I got a lot of projects. We're doing a film in a cave in Mount Rainier.
And then immediately the week after that, jumping out to go investigate a ghost town where people are being attacked in just recently. So
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna send film on that. We'll send to you for sure.
If there's anything I could do for you guys, help in any way, let me know, man. I would love
absolutely. You know what? It sounds like you're a very intelligent, versed individual. So it sounds like we will have a good person to use for consultations as well, because we like to make sure that our bound to truth here is more focused on helping people understand what they're going through, whether it is extraterrestrial, paranormal, or even dealing with cryptids and things like that.
Yeah,
So it would be
exactly.
great to have somebody as knowledgeable as you are to be able to help other people as well. And it sounds like you have the heart for that too. So
Exactly. And Gary, if it's cool too, if I do have other guests I think you could connect with, I would like to invite you on because you're about that help. That'd be great too, because it's not about John and I trying to be, it's not about us. It's
I could
not
tell.
about us. You know,
I could tell.
yeah, it's definitely not about us. We all have different. It's like being on the court, right? Some person's the passer, some person's the shooter, some person's the dunker. You know, we all have different gifts, and we want to complement each other to find the ultimate goal.
you
Um,
don't know a lot about basketball, do you, Chris?
I do, dude. I'm a Lakers fan.
There is not a specific person designated to dunking, just so you know.
Well, Shaquille O'Neal and
It's
just
not a position.
it's a
It's not a
center.
position
It's
on
a
the court.
center, dude. Whatever. Go.
It's called a center.
You know,
I just
kiss
And
my kiss my
of course
porgy
you're
butt.
of course you're a Lakers fan.
All right.
before we before we end this, Christopher,
Yeah.
I want to say they've given me a bunch of information on both God and Jesus.
Okay.
And
I would like to get into that.
Let's hold on to that because
Yeah.
I want to come back. We'll coordinate because I want to make sure you spend some good time on it.
Yeah.
You know, and John and I will coordinate with you, and we really appreciate your flexibility too, as well. Both you, Gary, and John. Me, I'm more of a loner, so it's all good.
Your cats. You got your cats, buddy, and your
Yeah.
guinea pigs.
And really quick before we get off, you guys hang on tight. Just a quick debrief because I know we got things to get on. Everybody, thank you for being on the show. Again, like we talked before, how can you reach us? boundtotruth34@gmail.com. Comments, questions, answers, insults. You know, whatever you want to say, I don't care. It's all good. I just want attention. Also on X, Facebook, YouTube, Buzzsprouts, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, X. I think I said it
You
right.
already said that. You forgot Pornhub.
We're not. God dang, stop with the Pornhub. Enough with the Pornhub. Good Lord, stop it.
Hey, and once
Stop
you
it.
stop uploading our podcast on there, I'll stop talking about it.
Good Lord. Okay. Anyways, everybody, thank you very much. And again, see you on the other side. Good night.